My name is Damien Browning, and this is Konnect Within, my podcast that I'm starting. I'm the CEO and founder of Steps to Recovery Homes, and I'm starting this podcast to kind of start talking to some people. I'm really interested in connection, and I'm really interested in purpose, and I'm interested in finding out like people's stories because I think it's super important for us to kind of move this way in our society right now, where everything's so separated and there's so much technology, and it's like, let's use some technology to get back to what's important. What's important for me is like that we connect with our surroundings, especially with other people. So connection for me is the opposite of addiction. It has been forever, so this is kind of what I'm going to start doing, guys, with this podcast. First guy that we're doing, this is our first trial run right here, and I got Triple X in here. He's a guy that I just recently met the last few months, really liking his energy and what he's about, and I'm just really interested in kind of some of his thoughts on this, and kind of, Triple X, maybe introduce yourself, and just kind of at first, if you could just kind of tell me, I don't want your whole story, man, but where are you right now, and where are you leading to in your goals that find you to find more connection? Is that important with you, and in purpose? I know
Okay.
For me, purpose has been something that's really given me a whole different outlook on my life. You know what I mean? So I was just kind of interested in what you thought about that.
Okay, I like that. I like what you said about connection being the opposite of addiction, or you know what I mean. When we're in our addiction, we isolate. At least I did. Okay, so I'm going to speak from my experience. So when I'm in addiction, I isolate. I don't want to be around nobody. Like my one tell is I will absolutely not answer the phone. Okay, I will text you, but I will not pick up the phone because I can't talk.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like, and then I tell everybody my tell so that they can call me out on my BS. Okay, like if I'm ever not answering the phone, but hey, I'm texting back and forth, blah 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 blah, but I won't talk to you. There's a problem, right? There's a problem. Okay, and so that's so weird. That's how today I deal with. Wow, this is so weird. That's how today I deal with my addiction. Is I let everybody know what I look like in active addiction. Okay, so there's no more secrets. Right?
Well, it's a huge tool. I mean,
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you've identified a tool because okay, so we're talking about addiction. We're talking about being clean. Like, obviously, I'm in long-term recovery myself, but it's not like a thing that just. It's not a static thing, right? So I have to identify, and then it evolves because life evolves, and I have to identify tools too for me that I use. So it's cool that you identified that tool, and not only are you using it, but you're actually making it active. You're telling people about it.
Yes, yeah. So one of my biggest things is I have my own little business that I'm trying to get off the ground. Okay, and I wrote a couple books.
Tell me about that.
Okay,
Just real quick.
So Be the Change Recovery. All right, that's my nonprofit, and what I want is I want to see the change in the recovery field that we need. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's why I want to run a nonprofit. I want to take all the money, put it back in the business, and give it away to scholarships and help people. Okay.
Interesting.
That's my goal. Okay. And so one of my philosophies is my recovery is rented. And rent is due every day. Okay, I can't own it. I can't. I can't skate on what I did yesterday. Okay, what I did yesterday doesn't matter. It's what I'm doing today that matters. Okay, every day I make the decision not to pick up. Okay, I have to make that decision every day, and I'm grateful that I get to make that decision. Okay, because 18. Let's see, what is today? Is it 29th, right?
29th, yeah.
29th. Okay, so I have 18 months and 4 days. Okay.
That's good stuff. Let's just celebrate that real quick. I mean,
Thanks.
18 months is a long time.
Yeah, we hit 18 months at Saturday. So,
Nice.
yeah, so it was nice. I will be at Celebrate Recovery in Prescott Thursday night on stage, giving a little bit of testimony, not my whole thing, but just getting my 18-month chip. So that's kind of cool. I've never got an 18-month chip. Okay, I've got a 2-year chip, but I've never got an 18-month. So that being said, is I work on my recovery every day, and I'm grateful to do it. Okay, what's changed? This is my 7th time in recovery, so I don't know if I'm a chronic relapser, but I have a lot of time in what I call my fake recoveries. Okay. Abstinence. All right. All I did was trade instead of using substances but okay, I guess I can say drugs on here. Instead of using drugs, TikTok, you got to watch what you say. Right? Okay. So instead of using that, I turned it into money. I turned it into power. I turned it into women, to sex, to the gym. I mean, I made the gym an addiction at one point in my life. So I can turn anything into an addiction. Right. All right. I have that. That's me. That's my thing. Right. Okay. And I realize that now. And so I have to do things in moderation. Even healthy things can become an addiction. And if it takes over your life, it's a problem, you know? And so that's how I view things today. I try to stay positive. I try to stay grateful. When I introduce myself, I'm XXX and I'm grateful in my recovery. Okay.
Let's dive into that just a little bit. So on the positive part, because I think, you know, for me, and I deal with this with a lot of people, and it's like, you know, we're so adapt to go right to the negative a lot. So can you just throw out 3 things that you use to stay positive, and we'll go back to where you were at. Sorry about that.
Hands down, I appreciate that. I'm very, very grateful. Okay. So in the morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is I say, I'm grateful that I woke up. Second thing, I'm grateful that I woke up clean and sober. Okay. The third thing is I woke up next to my wife, which is 99% of the time. However, right now she's getting a doctorate degree. So I am not waking up the next few days without her. So I'm not grateful because I'm not waking up. However, okay, change my perspective, right? Okay. Because it could be worse. Because 18 months ago, I put a gun to my head. Okay. So anyways, so
lean into that, brother. It's okay. That's what we're talking about. This is going to be a real talk.
Yeah. So the way I view life, the way I view change perspective, right? Every day right now is extra. Okay. Because if I would have been able to drive to the desert 18 months ago, I wouldn't be here. Okay. Even if it was intentionally or unintentionally, because I passed out in a multi-million-dollar housing development in an Airbnb in the front yard. Luckily, it was the front yard because the neighbors saw me and they called the cops. And the cops were able to call the paramedics and they were able to save my life. Had I passed out in the house, had I passed out in the desert,
well, and there's
who
stuff
knows,
like that
right?
I think about in my life, brother. I don't know how you feel about this, but it's like, you know, they talk about, you know, there's no coincidences, right? And I've heard this before. Like miracles is where God wants to remain anonymous. Like, you know, that happened in my mind because I'm looking at you. You're going to start a nonprofit. You got this passion and this fire in you for recovery, right?
Yes.
So that happened. That was somewhere because you still got work to do here. You still got purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Those are the things
absolutely.
I look back on in my life. There were so many little things that happened that, man, something else should have been totally different. But yet here we are.
Yes, yeah. And I'm like I said, I'm super grateful that I'm here, and I have a purpose, and my purpose is like so. I started when I was 19. Okay, all right. I didn't try. I mean, I drank in high school a little bit. Okay, nothing to excess, because I was afraid to get a DUI. I was the guy that would pour out his beer and act like I was keeping up with everybody else. Okay, all right. And then I discovered cocaine at 19. Okay, and that changed my whole life and changed my whole viewpoint and everything else. And so for years, the way I call it is I dealt death. Okay, because I wasn't just an addict or a user, I was a trafficker. I was the guy. Like if you've got shit in most of Arizona in the 90s, yeah, I'm probably the problem. I'm the problem. Okay, all right. So now I changed it. Now I'm dealing in hope, right? Okay, it's never too late to change. Okay, you know it doesn't matter. Like I mean, you saw me talking to somebody today earlier on TikTok. One of my followers reached out for help, and I'm trying to find this girl help. I don't know if I can, you know, but I'm doing everything I can to help her and get her in there. I think, in my opinion, recovery is for the willing. I wish our insurance companies did things different. Okay, and I wish it was mandated when you went to recovery 90 days. And insurance paid for that. I don't understand sending somebody to rehab for 8 times at 30 days when you could have sent them for 90 to 6 months one time and maybe solved the problem.
Yeah, and with that too, I don't know. I don't want to go down to my side.
I know.
This isn't just about me, but-
way go off on that.
well, no, it's okay, but like I don't think it's not a Band-Aid approach. And one of my things that's deep in my heart is really educating the public and our human race on kind of what the solution is. And man, it takes more time. It takes at least a year to see. I mean, you got to build a foundation. You got to change habits. You got to there's a lot of things that we got to do to break out of these cycles. And it's cool because somebody like you that's been in rehab 7 times. That's what you said, right?
No. I've only gone to 1 rehab.
Oh, 1 rehab.
I've had
but you've been
7 recoveries.
7
My recoveries have been 1 year.
Okay.
This current time, 2 year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, and a 9 year.
Okay.
Okay. However, only the 2 year was actual recovery. I went into a program.
So you weren't really doing any deep work?
Nope. All the other times I didn't go to meetings. I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't work the steps. And that in itself gave me superiority because I'm not like you.
Right.
I don't need a meeting. I don't need that. I mean, the first time I put shit down, I went 5 years and I went to school and I got an engineering degree and I got a master's and I was working on an MBA and my 30th birthday came up and I was like, shit, I got degrees on the wall. My business is amazing. I got a house, I got land, I got money, I got everything. I can handle it tonight.
Okay, so what do you think about the Band-Aid approach? Because I know you're saying that the insurance you think it should be longer. So
I mean, we can talk about insurance.
Well, no, but
what I think
I'm talking about recovery.
Recovery.
I'm talking about changing somebody's life.
You got to change everything. You got to be willing to do the work. Okay, I can't save you. You have to save yourself. All I can do is maybe show you that there's hope, okay? All right? There's a better way to live, okay? But I can't save you. You have to do the work, all right? You have to be willing to do the work, okay?
Yeah.
All right, and because it is work.
Well, I know that,
okay?
for sure.
I mean, because I'm going to tell you what, even though I had money and it wasn't an issue of getting the stuff, it was still work to get the shit. It was still work to do the stuff. It was still work to tell the lies that I had to tell to everybody that I thought I was fooling to maintain high.
Some of these questions I have like kind of my own personal agenda too, because like because when you started this, man, the passion was pouring out of you about this nonprofit you're starting, and that's what I really want to get into. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to meet. We have so much to talk about. But,
I'm
that's
literally
what I'm saying. You got this passion in you. You want to help people. You got ideas of what recovery looks like, right? I mean, we know that it's not a Band-Aid approach. We know, and we know that personally, that you got to put in work. We got to do these things. And I really feel like there's some purpose there for you.
Yeah, there. I like on my way here today, I got on the phone and somebody that is we're trying to buy a sober living. Okay, we're trying to buy a house. Okay, to open a sober living. Prescott needs more sober livings. Okay, because I've been to the sober livings of Prescott and. I'm okay. All right. Your sober living is freaking amazing. Okay. All right. But I've been to some over there and I'm like, geez, my prison cell was better than this. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, and so I was talking to somebody and it's $425,000 7-bedroom house. And I'm like, all right, send me the numbers. Let's see what we got, So that's how my start is going to be, is getting in the sober living and getting it open and helping people and having rules. And having structure for people. Because once you get out, here's the thing, like you go to rehab, okay? You go to the best rehab, the most expensive, whatever rehab in the world, okay? But if you only go for 30 days, how do you get through what's causing you to do the drugs and alcohol? Because that's the problem, right? The drugs and alcohol aren't the problem.
I think,
right? They're the solution,
I agree.
Right? They're the solution to our problem, okay?
For sure. Until they're not.
Until they're not. But what I mean is, so I for a person like me, okay, all right. So my father abandoned us when I was 4 years old. Okay, he divorced my mom, but he didn't need to abandon me and my sister. So from that point on in my life, my mom blamed me because she got pregnant with me in high school and married my father. I'm the reason her life turned out the way it is. Okay, I'm the problem. Okay, so I heard that my whole life. Okay, all right, and so then I have a mother that's mentally and emotionally abusive. Okay, a little physical. Okay, until I got until I turned 12 years old. I was bigger than her. But anyways, and then all the bullying that came with that, because in the early 70s, I didn't know a single person that didn't have a father. Every one of my friends had two parents. Even through graduation in high school, I was the only person that didn't have a father, okay? So I got bullied in school, okay? And then I was sexually assaulted in the church at 13. But who could I tell? I didn't tell nobody that till I was 45 years later. Because
you're not going to address all that stuff and work through that in 30 days.
Not in 30 days. You're hands down right. Because when
that's been all
hands down,
life.
That's it, right? And so that's why I don't agree with 30 days. Because when I had the opportunity, I went to one rehab, okay? Because I almost died, I woke up to an intervention. My wife finally put her foot down and stopped. She didn't enable me. My first wife enabled me. That's a whole nother story. But she put me down and she said, look, you're going to rehab, okay? So I had a rehab I could go to for 30 or 90 days, okay? But they didn't take my insurance. So I had to pay cash. I'm super, I pay attention to my money, right? So I was like, well, all right, how much is 30 days? And they're like, this much money. And I'm like, all right, how much is 90 days? And they're like, this much more money. I'm like, well, shit, I'm going for 90 days. I'm like, you might as well get the most bang for the buck, right? And I'm super grateful I did, because on day 40 is when I admitted my sexual assault to another person.
Wow, day 40.
Day 40. And this time for me was not a typical relapse for me. My typical relapses are 1 year long, 12 to 14 months. That means every day, nonstop, 12 to 14 months I'm using, okay? The first 5 relapses were that way, okay? So this one was real short term. If I had been on a 1 year relapse, there's no way. 30 days? I'm not even thinking straight in the first 30 days, right?
Yeah,
first 30 days, all I want to do is sleep and eat.
And there's
right?
a lot of tests about that too. There's a lot of information out there that says it's just not enough.
No, I hands down disagree. Like if I have a rehab center someday, it's going to be, look, you're coming here for 90 days. Minimum 90 days is what you're coming here for.
Well, and then an aftercare.
And then you need aftercare, because it's not, just like I said, our recovery is rented.
Yeah. Well,
You got to pay rent every day. So what does it look like? People go to rehab, they check in for 30 days, and they feel better. They're not high. They get the drugs out of their system. They're do, but they're not doing nothing. You know how many people I sat in rehab with that we come home from group and the gym, and all they're doing is on the phone, doom scrolling, Facebook, whatever, staying up till 2 a.m, TV on all night. I'm like, how the fuck are you paying attention to group? Like, how are you getting anything out of group if you're sleeping in group? Why are you here?
It's weird, man, because we're all different. We all have our own path.
Yep, I agree.
That's why I don't think there's any one size cookie cutter to recovery. But it's trippy because it really is. You can't measure anybody's desire. You can't.
No, that's difficult to yeah.
You know what I mean? But some of us, it's really an internal thing. Like for me, I was beaten up, man. And I had to be willing to. My biggest thing I've done in recovery is do something different than my own thinking. Is take direction just from somebody else. It's the biggest thing I've done. I've done a lot of stuff, but that's like,
That was one of the hardest things to learn for me too.
Still today, it's like, man, I got, some time, and it's like I still have to really look at my thoughts and realize, hey, man, is this a good decision?
Right. Well, that's where a higher power comes in. Asking your sponsor, asking other people, because my biggest character flaw is my intelligence. Okay, hands down, because I don't think you could teach me anything. I mean, the old me, right? You can't teach me anything. I'm going to figure it out, okay? And I'm going to do it, okay? And I see what I've done, and so and that just kind of reinforces that. Yeah, you're smart.
That's a whole other conversation too, because of us men. I mean, like we were grown. We were raised with these agreements. I'm going to touch on the 4 agreements.
Hands down.
Here,
I love that book.
We were raised with the agreements because it's like we had to jump up. We had to be a man. We had to not show weakness.
Bend, don't cry. Can't cry. It's affected
us in our relationships. It's affected us with connecting with other people. I mean, if you think about it, like it's a huge thing that separates us. So they talk about addiction being coupled with separation. Mm-hmm. You don't understand me.
Yep.
You don't know what I'm looking at. And then we isolate. We
isolate. Yes.
And all of a sudden we're in that obsession and that compulsion, and we're trying to self-medicate to stop that thought. So we compulsively act on something that doesn't even align with our goals. And if we don't think we're worth it, where are our goals?
Yeah, and I would have to say more people have experienced trauma in their life, okay, than we let on, right? We don't like to talk about it, right?
Well, especially men.
Well, yeah, hands down, we don't like to talk about it. Like, so in my experience, my dad and my mom left, right? So my mom just blamed my dad for cheating on her for whatever. And all I was told is, I'm going to be just like my dad. I'm going to be a liar and cheater. Okay, I'm going to be a liar and cheater. I'm going to be a liar and cheater. You know what I turned out to be? Yeah. So I turned out to be a liar and cheater. My first marriage was, I don't know. We were married for 22 years. She stayed with me for the money. And I stayed with me because she's the baby mama to my 4 children. Okay, so, but it had nothing to do with love. Not
How old are your children?
Oh, shit. Sorry. Sorry.
Don't worry, we'll cut that out. Bleep.
I'm working on my story. My daughter was born in 89, so she'll be 37 this July.
Oh, wow.
She's my oldest, okay?
Gosh, I thought you were like 30, dude.
I'm 59.
Really?
My granddaughter turned 18 in February.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I might be
I'm learning some stuff.
Great grandpa.
This is what I want.
I'm hoping I'm not going to be a great grandpa.
So
I'm hoping she pumps the brakes because she's a junior in high school.
Your older daughter's.
Yes, my older daughter's 37.
Okay.
Then I have my son who is living on the streets in California, fentanyl addiction. He turns 36 in October. Okay. No, 34 in October. Then we go to 1999, so that's 27. So I have a middle son that's 27. And then I have a younger son that's 25.
Okay.
And then I have a daughter, an adopted daughter, and she's 27.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she's Julia's child, and she's my adopted child. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have 4 kids with the same baby. I only have one baby mama, thank goodness. Oh my God.
Me too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, that was a smart decision, And so.
So I have 3 boys.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I have mine 27, 23, and 22.
Okay.
My youngest son's actually in town, so I was really excited. He just popped in yesterday. He's living in New Mexico, so
nice.
I just got my first grandbaby.
Oh, nice! Congratulations. Yeah. All right, I have. So I have 5 grandbabies, okay, that I get to see, okay. My son, that lives on the street, fentanyl addiction, has a son that is 15, but the mother lied about the parents.
Oh, okay.
So we already had the DNA testing. It is my kid's. However, the birth certificate says somebody else, and that somebody else is paying child support for that kid right now. There's nothing I can do about it till that kid turns 18, and then I can introduce myself to him. And then apparently, this is none confirmed. In the last couple of weeks, on April 9th, my son had some girl pregnant, and she had a baby, and she says it's his. Don't know, because the baby's been taken away by the state because it was born addicted to fentanyl. So,
wow. And this is what we're talking about. So I know we don't have a lot of time here, so I'm going to redirect this back to your nonprofit.
Okay.
Because listen, we could talk forever.
Yeah. Oh, no, hands down. Like I said,
I mean,
you can sit on a podcast and talk forever.
You're an interesting dude, man. I think, and you're so passionate. And I just love it, man. It fires me up. I mean, I got some long-term recovery going on. I got a lot going on in my life, but I get excited when people are excited about it.
Yeah. Really, no, I mean, I am so grateful in my recovery. And when I go and I'm thank you. I'm really blessed that you let me teach IOP, and because I go in there and I try and change their perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop thinking negative about yourself. And I'm not trying to change how NA and AA and all the programs do it. When you walk in, you say you're an addict. Okay. Because when I first went, I felt I was an addict. Okay. I am someone that suffers from addiction, and I will always suffer from addiction. But I don't identify as an addict because I'm grateful in my recovery. Because that's where I'm at today. I'm in my recovery, and I'm grateful to it, okay?
Yeah,
and so, because our body internalizes negativity.
Yeah.
I was just reading something. There are certain words in a combat that operators do not say to each other, okay? So like if you're flying a plane, and they're like, hey, don't hit that plane. Your mind doesn't hear the don't. Your mind hears hit the plane, okay? So they don't say things like that, okay? So that's negativity, right? So don't be negative about yourself. Be positive about
that's
yourself.
why I
Right?
brought up some of the 3 things. And I think that brings up a whole nother sidetrack that we could talk about, because it's like, that's the reprogramming in my mind. It's like constantly.
the 4 agreements.
I want to grab on the thing, and like Joe Dispenza talks about reprogramming. We can actually reprogram and that's what takes time.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It takes action.
It takes action. It takes time.
Right?
It takes discipline. It takes willingness. Okay.
Perception is the foundation of my moment. It's all I have, and it's how I'm perceiving things. And if I can actually practice some principles around whatever's going on and perceive it a better way, my moment's gonna be better, man.
Yes.
It's just that simple.
Yes.
So it's like, it takes work and actively putting in the action into that work to do that. And that takes time. And patience. A lot of patience.
Well, a lot of patience. I'll tell you what, you want to learn patience? I don't suggest this route to anybody. Go to prison. Yeah. Okay. If you haven't learned patience, hands down, you'll learn it in prison. Okay. Yeah. So I don't suggest it. However,
I think we both have experience with that one.
So, but it's the gratitude and being grateful. Like, so if I'm grateful and I'm happy and I'm positive, right, then I'm going to project it onto you. But if I'm negative and I'm just like, man, I don't want to go to work. Damn, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to do da. It just projects it, right? And then whoever I'm around, they absorb it too. Yeah. Right. And you're just negative.
Especially,
but man, it's like, man, you know what? It's like, yeah, doing the dishes ain't great, but guess what? I'm grateful I get to do the dishes because I got a sink. I got dishes. I got a house.
I got food that I put on the dishes. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't, right? You know what? I remember what it was like in prison when you get your 1 cup, your 1 bowl, and your 1 spork.
Well, this is the other essence of how deep this conversation really is. Is because what you're saying is like when we're negative, it pushes on to other people. Just like when you smile, you can actually change people from smiling, right? Yes. That's the connection that we actually have that we don't really realize.
Yes.
We can actually make somebody's day different.
Yes. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's the deep connection that a lot of people they don't realize it's really theirs. And so when I talk about connecting within, it's like really connecting with yourself and what's going on. And then that way you can see how you present yourself in the world.
Yeah, right? it starts internally. It starts internally. Like you start being positive.
It has to be internal.
You start being positive. You start thinking positive, right? Yeah. And so like you just don't let like I was listening to Bruce Lee talk about peace, right? How do you achieve peace? And he goes, you stop putting energy into negative things.
Nice.
You stop giving it thought. Okay, that's how you reach peace, right? And I get that. It makes so much sense because I don't let little things bother me. Right. I'm grateful that I get to do this. It's not that I have to do this. I'm grateful. Okay. And then I'm positive about that. And then when I'm talking about positivity, I'm talking about, hey, let's promote recovery. And recovery is, like I said, it's a lifelong process. Okay. You don't just go to rehab. Like I wish you could go to 30-day rehab and then bam, everything's fixed and you're right. Doesn't work that way.
So the recovery word is something out there too. So language is an issue here too. So what does recovery mean? That's another thing I'm trying to get out there. It's like for me, recovery for me has changed. And right now, the last 3 or 4 years, it means making healthier decisions based on the betterment for myself and the people I love.
Yes. Okay.
So it's really about making decisions. Like that's where I'm at, and I have been for a while. It's not just about, like you were saying earlier, it's not just about the substances or the addictive things. It's really about, because, if I'm overworked, like right now I'm addicted to work. I don't know if I'm addicted to it, but I'm totally in this habitual thing where I overwork myself.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know it's a problem. It's a problem for me, and it's a problem for the people I love.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
So that's right there is like, so the first part is awareness.
Yes,
so 60% of it is, we can talk about motivational interviewing, the 5 stages of change. There's all kinds of things we have, right? But the first part is awareness. I'm aware of it. And I'm really starting to intake it like, hey, something needs to change. That's where recovery lies, right?
Yes. And you're right. Recovery is more than just, it's more than abstinence. Okay. It's more than I'm not using anymore. Okay. So I'm not drinking, I'm not using. Okay. Because we all heard the term, like they're a dry drunk, right? They're just still pissed off at the world, right? They're not drinking, but they're not happy, right? So for me, recovery is about inner peace, finding happiness, being grateful, okay, being positive, okay? Whatever it is, it's not that, like I said, I can turn anything into an addiction. So it's not that like, oh, you know what? I can go do this over here and nobody will know and I'll make some money, right? No. It's not about that, because that's not who it was meant to be. Okay. All right. That's not who I want to be known for, right? I don't want to be known as a drug trafficker anymore, right? I want to be known as somebody that works in recovery, that helps people. So that's what I want. Okay. And so in order to get that, I have to project that and I have to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And I have to, there again, setting boundaries. Okay. So I can get a little obsessive with things, work. Okay. To where I'm just always doing it. But so now I set boundaries. So like at 5 o'clock at night, that's my time to be with my wife. Okay. So from 5 to 7's with my wife. 7 o'clock, we're in bed. And I get up at 4 a.m. So I'm like a weird person, right? But you figure out what works and you're like, no, this is what I do. And I get up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym with my wife. So we spend time together. We get to be together. Okay. No one's calling me at 5 a.m. Not really. I mean, so you get that time. And that's helped me so much in my relationship.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Because I had 9 years ago, I had a business. I had a gift card business. And we worked from 12 to 12. That was our hours, 7 days a week. And when I first started, it was 8 to 12, 7 days a week. And I mean, I just worked and worked. And I finally had to put in some boundaries and had to hire some people and had to step back, and do things and be like, nope, I'm not answering the phone today. Boom, Ron, you got this. Okay. You're in charge. Handle it. Okay. All right. And you got to find the right people, but then you got to take a little back so you get that inner peace and you set that boundaries, and then you can have time with your family, your loved ones.
And that's totally aligned with connection.
Yeah.
So let's go back, because we are running out of time. So let's go back to the nonprofit. I want because I believe the connection. We've been talking about a lot of different things, but it really all of those wrap together. But I believe the connection's apparent. That you're working on connecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to talk about a little bit of purpose and how where just talk about the nonprofit and your visions for it and what you're trying to build.
Okay, so
what it looks like.
Okay, so for my vision, like when I have a rehab someday, okay, all right.
Is it going to be under the nonprofit?
It's going to be under the nonprofit.
So it's going to be a nonprofit for treatment.
For nonprofit for treatment. Yes. Okay. I don't listen. I'm not overly rich, okay, but I have enough. Okay, prison cured me of my materialism. Okay. All right. So now I'm a minimalist. Like I have what I want. I have what I need. Okay. And as long as I have what I need, I'm fine. Okay. So I'd like to take all the rest of the money and put it back in and help other people. Okay. There's not like a nonprofit. You can get paid, you can get a salary and you can live. Okay. But you're not maybe buying a second or third house and everything else. Right. And part of me with some rehab centers I've seen, it's all about the money. Okay, and I think it should be all about the people. Okay, rehab should be the one business that you do not have repeat clients. Okay, it should be, right? Like how does a business survive? We build a client base. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't do that in rehab. Yeah. We should treat people and help them save themselves and change. Like maybe they still come back and give, but we're not constantly billing them for the next 25 years. Yeah. Okay. All right. And that's my opinion. Okay. And so like my opinion, my rehab, 90-day minimum stay. You got to come and you got to stay 90 days. Okay. No phones, minimum 30 days. Okay. Because who are you going to call? Right now, we're so messed up in our own minds. We need to fix ourselves. We need to work on ourselves. We don't need to work on that relationship, because if we were out getting high, we wouldn't be working on the relationship. So why do we need to rush it? Okay. Because as addicts and things I've seen, everybody goes to rehab and everybody automatically wants to call on people and start saying they're sorry. We're not ready to make amends. Number one. Number two, the words I'm sorry and apologize should never be in an amends. That's not what amends is. Amends is taking accountability for your actions. Okay. It's not saying I'm sorry. Because sorry doesn't, for most addicts, sorry doesn't mean shit. My sorry doesn't mean anything. Right? I've said it too many times to too many people. What's it mean? Okay. So no phones, good trauma therapy. That's what I believe is key. Luckily, Dr. Jeff was my psychologist. You talk to him. He's an amazing person. He got through to me. Okay. and he got through to me in 40 days. Okay, and so now we're writing books together, and I'm getting certified in neurofaith. You're right. So I went from being his patient to now being his colleague. Okay, but I needed that trauma therapy, and I think a lot of people do, and I kind of see. I see that lacking in some rehabs, because I talk to some people who go to rehabs and they don't get any kind of therapy whatsoever, and I'm like, wow, how, like if I'm doing drugs because of my childhood and what I went through, and I never address it. That's why I kept going back. That's why I'm in recovery number 7. Okay, because life's going good, everything's fine, and I'm like, oh, I hear that voice in my head. Yeah, you're never going to amount to everything. All this business is going to fail. You're not going to be. You're just going to be like your father. Boom, boom, boom. And all I want to do is quiet it down. Yeah. Right. And so that was the last time. I just needed that voice to be quiet for a couple hours, and I got a hold of some shit that was laced with fentanyl, and I had no experience with that. And so you add a little Ambien on top of that, and almost died. So trauma therapy, I think, is very, very important. Okay. And you know what I mean? I don't know. I have this vision for it. I don't know if it's reality. Okay. I mean, personally, I think the rehab will be non-smoking also. If you're coming to rehab, you might as well stop it all.
That's going to be a hard one.
Probably, but here's the deal.
No,
you want to know
how we are.
Hands down. Hands down. Okay. You want to know what's crazy is? I forget the statistics, but it's millions of people every year die from tobacco, right? Millions. Do you know how many people die of opioids?
Yeah, 394 a year.
Right. Why is that a crisis? Yet millions isn't.
So the statistics I looked up, it says that 8,600 people die a year in our world of an alcohol-related disease.
Yeah.
And 14,000 something die
of tobacco.
Of tobacco.
Yep. Now, hands down, I saw the same thing.
And,
but that's not a crisis.
I'm not minimizing the opioid crisis for sure, but
no, absolutely.
Why are we not talking about the elephant in the room?
Right.
Because
you know why?
This could be a whole nother conversation.
You know why?
Alcohol for me is one of the worst things out there, man. And tobacco too, obviously.
Absolutely.
I have 16 years off smoking.
No shit. Congratulations. That's amazing. I am severely allergic to cigarette smoke. Okay. And so it sucks because most of my...
I've saved a lot of money.
I can. Most of my clients smoke, right? Yeah. And it's terrible because I'm around it and then I'm sick. Yeah. Okay. And so I'm trying to work that out. But my rehab, it's like hands down. Here's the thing. Do you want to smoke your cigarette, or you truly want to heal and get healthy? You got to make that decision, okay? Because I want people to come to my rehab that want help. Mm-hmm. Not because your parents are sending there, because their parents are tired of you, using dope at house, okay? Now, if that kid wants help, yes. But
that's a whole other conversation.
It is a whole other conversation because
it's that personal, it's that desire, that personal desire. And I'm telling you, man, when I started my thing, it was like, that's what it was all about for me. And now it's kind of, I've had to kind of lessen my expectations a little bit and be more open to just being willing to, because there's certain levels, and we put certain expectations and certain labels on people and their willingness. We do. This guy is not really working a program, blah, 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 blah. And then what I realized is, if somebody comes to my program, because I know personally that we're going to have you do a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. So if somebody comes here, I feel like we're the last house on the block for Steps to Recovery Homes. And if somebody comes here, there's some level of willingness. There's some level.
Yeah.
And if I can plant a mustard seed, and it's hard, man. It's hard because I want the people that are really willing, like me.
Yes.
I want me in and just on fire, because then we get passionate, and then we connect within, and we connect with others. We find purpose, and we start healing. We heal.
Yes.
And it makes our world a better place.
Yeah. And I hear what you're saying, because I do have some clients that are, I don't want to say combative. I want to say, I don't know. I wish they had more willingness. Okay. All right. And so, but I have noticed a change. I've been with them for 3 weeks now, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And I've actually noticed a little change. So I'm
So you're
kind
making
of
a difference.
So yeah. So I'm like, all right. Maybe I see the point in this, because I like to get with people and I'm like, listen. I ask people, when I do IOP, I ask people, I'm like, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? What are you here? And I get all kinds of reasons. Okay. No one ever tells me, or let me rephrase. One person has only ever told me, I'm here because my life depends on it.
Yeah, it's, and, I mean, that's what we want to hear, right? Because then it's like they're a sponge, and they
Because you
take
get it.
Well, there's a sponge, and they're willing to do something different.
Yeah.
They're willing. There's so many conditions that we have as human beings. We have all these conditions.
Absolutely.
And all it does is block. It blocks the light, man.
Right.
It keeps us in this vicious cycle. A lot of times we don't even know because they're subconscious.
Yeah. Hands down, what do you do when you go to a meeting, right? This is what I did, okay? In the 80s, I went to a Cocaine Anonymous meeting, and I went in there and I heard people smoking crack, and I heard people injecting. And the first thing wrapped in my head is like, I'm about to just snorting it. I mean, I might be snorting it now today, but Buck, I'm not as bad as you. Mm-hmm. And I left.
Well,
right?
We look for that's the thing. We look for the differences.
Do we look for the differences? So even now when I talk, I'm talking about it now. Right? But when I go and I share my message and I talk at NA meetings and groups and everything, I don't talk about my DOC. I don't talk about my DOC on TikTok. I wrote a book about it. I mean, it's in my book, but I don't talk about it. And people ask why. And I said, I don't want you to think you're not as bad as me. Yeah. And leave.
I don't even know if it's important.
It is. My DOC is not important, okay?
That's what I'm
Because here's the thing: if it doesn't matter what you're doing, okay, if it is taking over your life, okay, it's interfering with your relationships, your money, your job, your safety, your health, it's a problem, and you need help. So it doesn't matter what it is, okay? So the fact that I like to do 2 or 3 different favorite substances. Doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter that I never stuck a needle in my arm. Doesn't mean I'm better than you, because the way I did it was a freaking problem, okay? All right, so it doesn't matter. I'm not no better than anybody else, and I'm not no worse than anybody else. We're all the same.
Well, I think that's the last thing I want to talk about is we're talking about people and their willingness, and it's like, meeting people where they're at. My idea of meeting people where they're at is understanding that no matter what I think or how I think they should be thinking, they're thinking the way they're thinking. Mm-hmm. So then it's like I listen and I go, oh, there's a hole. There's a doorway.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And what I listen for is what they're excited about.
Okay.
And then I kind of like go in that way. You know what I mean? Because I know I can talk program to them. I can talk about change. I can talk about all these things that they'll never hear.
No, they won't hear until they're ready.
So like you said, you've been 3 weeks, and there's some people that are really starting to listen. So like that's what we have to do is like we have to be mindful and put in action on how can we plant that seed.
Yes.
Because if we don't connect with somebody, they're never gonna. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right. It's changing. It's changing the perception.
But that's what I'm saying. So we're bringing. So this is,
do it. Yeah.
In my mind, this is really good talk because you're talking about opening up a treatment center eventually from a nonprofit and with your passion.
Yes.
So like this, you're talking about doing things different because trauma is so important because these things you believe in are so important. And this is how we're going to heal more people.
Yeah.
Is to get the understanding out there that, hey, we can push all day long.
Right.
But that's what pushes people away because they're looking for it.
Yes,
it doesn't mean that it's
real.
Yeah. But
right,
in their mind,
it
justifies and rationalizes the reason, just that reason that they're looking for, and they might go out and die.
Yes.
Or they might not come back.
So real quick. So So I'm religious. Okay. All right. I follow the old gods, Viking gods. I've been in this religion for 22 years, and I'm an ordained minister. Okay. All right. So it's very, very near and dear to my heart. Okay. All right. However, my religion allows me to understand that I might not know it all, right? That somebody else's religion might be right for them. Like, I don't need to save you. I don't need to convert you. I don't need to change you, okay? I'm very, very tolerant of what other beliefs there are, okay? There are 5 major religions, 7 minor, and 4,000 other religions in the world.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So religion's a big thing. Not having religion, 1.1 billion people are atheist or agnostic
Really?
in the world.
Is that
right?
How do they grab that number?
I don't know. I mean, I just some statistics. Right? Okay. So with that being said, recovery is for the willing. Okay. You need a higher power, but you don't necessarily need religion or faith. Okay. You need, or spirituality. You need a higher power. I wrote a book. I took the 12 steps from NA and explained what was meant by each thing from a non-religious, non-spiritual point of view. Wrote it. I plan to give it away when my website's up. Hopefully my website will be up soon.
What is your website?
Well, my website
it's not up
is
yet?
BeTheChangeRecovery.org.
So how can we find you?
TikToks. BeTheChangeRecovery.org is my domain, and that will be where my website is. You can find me by typing in Be The Change Recovery on TikTok, and that's my TikTok page. Okay. That's my social media presence right now.
Okay.
Okay, and then you can find Becoming the Change is my book on Amazon. Okay, it's on Amazon and Apple Books. And Be The Change, No One Left Out, also by XXX, is my 12-step book on Amazon. But I will give that, I'm giving that away for free. I just put it on Amazon for the people that are hardcore, have to have a book, right? So yeah, you know, that's how you find me.
Nice.
So.
Well, I really appreciate your time. I think we should wrap it up because otherwise we'll be here till
we'll keep
way
talking
past your bedtime or your time with your wife. I gotta tell you, she'll be calling me, man. Like, where is he? You know?
Absolutely.
But,
so,
man, it's been really good. You know, I think we should talk some more.
Absolutely.
There's a lot.
I look forward to it.
I want you to know that I'm a huge collaborator. I believe in connection deeply.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't believe in competition.
Oh no, absolutely. No. I'm not trying to compete with anybody or change anything or no.
Where I'm coming from. So with this nonprofit you're starting, if you need anything from me,
absolutely. I appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to use our a bunch of our curriculum or throw some out or whatever, man. I mean, it's yours.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks.
All right.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right. Good seeing you. Thanks, man.
All right.
How long was that?
An hour at least.
Oh, it had been maybe.